At Backup Northwest, we accommodate 110 young people at any one time. These are young people who are experiencing homelessness and multiple levels of disadvantage and are all aged between 16 and 25 and currently living in the Bolton area. What we do at Backup is make sure that young people have got a fighting chance of a positive future by offering intensive supported housing across many different levels, and we have 9 projects that do this. 350 plus young people live on our scheme across the year, and we have got 50 plus staff working relentlessly to make sure that the young people are supported, valued, empowered and move on successfully. And here you're going to hear just 3 of those success stories.
I'm 16 now, turning 17 shortly, but I've been left on my own since being the age of 14. My home life, it was horrible. My mum was a drug user. We've been involved with social services since being born, and she was just always putting everyone else, her friends and her boyfriends, before her children. I ended up being the only child left at home, and then as she started disappearing for weeks on end, leaving me to fend for myself, and it just got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I dropped out of school, and I rebelled against all my workers until one day my social worker turned around and said, "How do you feel about going to Backup?" And she explained to me that it was a flat. I'd get all the support I need, and I'd end up in my own flat eventually out in the area. And when she suggested that, I just grabbed it whilst I could.
In 2016, my family received the most devastating news that my dad, aged 46, had pancreatic cancer stage 4 and secondary in the liver. My mum and dad finally married each other. Just a week later, my dad passed away. As time went by, my mum started to become really ill. She got admitted to hospital for a month. The hospital didn't know what was wrong with her. Anyway, they sent her home. It was the 5th of February 2018. Me and my little brother were still in bed. It were around 10 o'clock when I woke up. I went to the top of the stairs, shouted her name, and no reply. So I ran downstairs because I heard a noise, and she was lay there on the floor, unable to breathe. They found out that she'd suffered a major stroke, and she'd hit her head on the way down, and her face had swelled. She then was pronounced brainstem dead, and my head was all mashed up and I didn't know what to do, obviously, because me and my brother had been left homeless.
I got moved onto a project because family home weren't right. In 2015, my dad died, and I didn't get on with my mum, and just moved from there. I had the interview, and I was like, I could like it here, and I think it was like a couple of weeks after, and I got a place in Stonechurch. I was a support worker that helped me with budgeting, and I moved on from there. I moved into another one without staff. I was lonely, and like I couldn't say no to people, and like people came round saying we've got a drink. So I was like, right, it's people coming round seeing me, and I went wrong from there.
I had to give up my job and college because I couldn't cope with the stress of them. I didn't really know how to live by myself because I had a perfect little family.
and 2 members of staff came round, and there was two people in my bedroom, and loads of bottles and everything in the flat. And I think it was the week after I got mentioned to me that supported lodgings was all right, and at that point I was in a really bad place.
After being in Luca's project for 6 months, I finally got transferred onto the priority list for a flat of my own, but I really didn't feel I was well in myself. I thought I needed counselling and CBT to make me feel better, so I'm now here.
Hi Ellie.
Hiya.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah,
Do you want to come in and take a seat?
thank you.
So how's your week been?
Okay, yeah.
What have you been up to?
Been seeing my nan, yeah.
If backup wasn't here, I'd be completely on my own. I'd be living on park benches, in tents, it'd be a really hard struggle to get by in life. When I first came to backup, I thought I could do everything, and I was being told I was doing the majority of things right, but the only thing that was holding me back was my mental state and my unhealthy relationships. And then as I've come back the second time round, I've only been here a few weeks and I'm being told I'm being put on the waiting list to move over because I'm pretty much doing everything I need to be doing. I've got a mentor from Chances called Jo, where she works with me, telling me what unhealthy relationships are and all the bad signs and what to stay away from. And I've also got an endeavour worker called Linda who meets up with me once a week, and she goes through, we have little cards that are like Mr. Wrong and Mr. Right, and it's just pretty much all the warning signs to stay away from it when you're in an unhealthy relationship. Even when talking to a lad, I can pick up the unhealthy parts, and that's just a big warning sign to stay away from.
It was awkward at first because with the family, so it was like going back to family home, and the rules were different. When I was with my own family, it didn't feel right. But now it's like my own family, relationships are getting better.
In the communal area, it's all about getting together and making friends and just taking part in activities. We do cooking, we can play on pool table, we can play FIFA, we can do arts and crafts. There's numerous activities going on every single day. It's important for us people who don't have family, who don't really socialise, and it just stops us from being on our own in our flats, and it just gets us out there really.
Well, it's a couple called Gwen and Bill, and they've got 2 foster children. In the house, I've got my own bedroom, and I can go downstairs and talk to them, use the living room. We have meals downstairs, and I do like spending time with them, because it's just like my family, but it's not.
In the future, I see myself with my own place that I can invite family round to. I can have my little brother stopping over with me. This is my home. The best thing I like about it is I've got a place to call my home, and it's just so much room, and I know that I can relax. At college, I was learning makeup and hairdressing and tattooing, so I want to go back into that profession. I weren't earning anything when I came here. I didn't have any money. It was just family helping me out here and there. And when I did move in, they bought me all this stuff. So I have got a good family support network.
In the future, I see myself being just the best person I can be, better than my mum. And I just I picture my future as me being in my own flat or my own home with my own children, looking after them.
In the future, I want like my own flat, my own family, a good job, and I want to keep in contact with Gwen and Bill and try and get like my family like talking properly and the relationships getting better.
Because my mum and dad was very supportive, they'd help anyone in need, and I know that they'd be very grateful to the staff, especially Julie, my support worker, who does absolutely everything for me. If I'm not well, I tell her, and she comes checking on me like every 2 hours, and she messages me and makes sure I've got everything that I need here. And I feel like loved, like, you know, that everyone helps me out, and yeah. I feel like if there weren't places like this, I'd still be coach hopping from families' coaches, and I wouldn't be able to cope with my bereavement as much as I'm coping now.
To all the young people that are homeless or in situations like I was with my parents, I'd say just seek like the closest help you can get, whether that's through social services, through school, mentors, anything. Just mention back up, and it'll be the best thing you've ever done.